What's up? This is Release Rotation. I'm your host, John W. Snyder. I mean, so much happened over the weekend. So much has happened in sports. I don't even know where to start today. I mean, Bill Belichick interviewing for the North Carolina job. That's huge. He's got ties there. His dad was on staff there back in I don't even know. These are 60s. It was a long time ago. I know that much. There's ties there. Does he even want the job? I mean, he was in the NFL for so long, does he even want to go to the college ranks and deal with NIL and recruiting and all of that? Is that even something he wants to do? I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, he's in his 70s, right? Do you want to put up with that? Or is he setting it up where, these are rumors, I don't know that it's accurate, but where his son comes in and coaches and is like coach in waiting? Is that what this is all about? Does he just need to get back to coaching? I mean, why wouldn't you just go coach in the NFL? Like, what team wouldn't want Bill Belichick in the NFL? Or does he want to try the college ranks? I don't know. That's big news. I mean, the other obvious big news in college football is the college football playoffs are official. We know who's playing who in the first round. We know who got byes. I'm going to look at this real quick and just give you my quick thoughts on it. The top four who get byes first: Oregon, Georgia, Boise State, Arizona State. Is that right? Is that accurate? I mean, Boise State's only loss was to Oregon on a last-second field goal. But has Boise State played anybody? That's the argument. And just like listening to all the arguments, all these people complain, we thought going from 4 to 12 teams would be great, I'm not going to argue anymore because it's 12 teams. It's the best 12 teams. But now, Alabama gets left out with 3 losses. And they had 2 horrible losses to 2 teams that I think are both 6-6. I know OU 6-6, and I think Vandy is 6-6. They were both on the road in the SEC, but to 2 teams they should have beat. Nick Saban, if he was still at Alabama, would have won both of those games. So Alabama gets left out. Everybody's crying about it. And if you're watching and following along, they're now questioning well, we're not going to schedule tough non-conference games. And it's like, your 3 games were lost to SEC teams. You lost to 3 SEC teams. So what is this about non-conference scheduling? I don't get it. Doesn't make any sense to me. Do I think Alabama should have been in the top 12 for the college football playoff? Absolutely not. Not after losing to Vandy and Oklahoma, and especially losing to Oklahoma the way they did. Didn't score a touchdown. Alabama didn't deserve to be in. And what's crazy, too, with the ACC is the fact that Miami lost, which allowed Clemson to get into the ACC championship game against SMU. Clemson has lost 3 games, but they also won the ACC. So they got the 12th seed, where SMU got the 11th, where I think it should be the opposite, right? I feel like Clemson should have had the 11 to the 12 based just on head-to-head, and being the champion of the ACC was Clemson. So I don't know how they decided that. I think the other ones they got right. Notre Dame, their best win was against Army, and of the 12 teams, they had the worst loss to Northern Illinois. So, I think that's right. Indiana, do they have an argument? They're at 10. Now they have to play Notre Dame. It's the battle of Indiana right there. So I don't know. Texas got the 5, Penn State 6. I am surprised maybe a little bit by Arizona State getting that 4 seed, but man, they came in, they were picked dead last in the Big 12, and they came in and won the Big 12 outright. A lot of experts at the beginning of the season some had Utah, some had Oklahoma State, and both of those teams just laid giant eggs. I think that's the saying. Oklahoma State, obviously there's a lot going on there. I'll get into that in a second, but how are we feeling about the 12-team college football playoff? I think we're going to see Oregon versus Georgia in the national championship game. So Texas is going to beat Clemson to play Arizona State, which I would love to see Arizona State and Boise State. Those would be my 2 ideal, would be Arizona State versus Boise State in the national championship game. It would probably be one of the least watched national championship games, but man, I would love to see that. But you know what? I'm going to go with the top 2 seeds because they're the top 2 seeds for a reason. Oregon versus Georgia in the national championship is who I have, which is also, if the BCS was still around, that's who the BCS would have. So did we get the best 12 teams in the country in this? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. South Carolina, Ole Miss, Alabama, all SEC teams all feel like they got snubbed, but I feel like they got these 12 teams right this season. And every year there's going to be complaints. I've talked about this before, but with college basketball, there's like 68 teams that get into this college basketball tournament, and there's still people complaining. So it's never going to end. It doesn't matter. You could put every single team in a playoff, and there's still going to be someone complaining about something. So I think it's dumb. These are the 12 teams. And you know what? For Alabama, don't lose to 2 6-6 teams. They have no right to argue about this. Alabama has no right to be in the top 12 in this college football playoff at all. South Carolina and Ole Miss maybe have more of a gripe than Alabama, but I don't know. That's how I feel about it. It's fun to talk about. It's going to be interesting. That's what's happening, though. So I got Georgia playing Oregon. Not going out on a limb because it's 1 versus 2. It's what I have. Should be fun, though. We've never had a 12-team playoff. First time. It's been 4 teams for the last, decade. Is that right? Something like that. And so I'm excited for this. I think it's good for football, for college football. I love that the first 4 games are on campus. So Texas will be hosting Clemson. Ohio State will be hosting Tennessee. Penn State will be hosting SMU. And Notre Dame will be hosting Indiana. And I think all of those teams advance too. So I think the top seeds all advance. 5, 6, 7, and 8 all move on to play 1, 2, 3, and 4. The way it's designed to be, I guess. There could be some upsets. I mean, it's definitely not like college basketball where you can have a 16 beat a 1 or a 15 beat a 2. I don't think we're going to see, I don't think Clemson's going to beat Texas. It's 12 versus 5. So I don't think we'll have those crazy upsets. I think the seeding is right for now, but here's an idea. After the first round, after those first 4 games, should they reseed the final 8? Should the final 8 be reseeded? I think that's an idea. Does it matter, though? You still have to win. You still have to win, but it is harder for some of these teams to advance, maybe. So, I don't know. I feel like Oregon has it harder than maybe Boise or Georgia, and they're the number 1 seed. So maybe you do reseed it in that way to make it more fair for the teams, especially Oregon, who went undefeated. So should they reseed 5, 6, 7, and 8 after the first round? I think so. Just because I think Oregon, they deserve to be that 1 seed and to have the easier route. I know a lot of people might push back on that, but that's how I feel about that. I think that no matter what, though, I think it's good for football to have 12 teams versus 4 teams. I love to see it. I think it's going to be competitive. It's going to be fun. Again, I love that 6, 7, and 8 get to host a game on their home field. So that's an extra home game for those teams this season and for the fans. I think that's super fun. And they deserve a home field advantage, I guess, because they're the top seeds in the first round. So I love that idea. I love that. Anyways, let's move on. Let's talk about Oklahoma State football real quick. I'm from Oklahoma. I went to Oklahoma State. That's why I talk about them on here. I know some people don't care and you're going to tune out. That's fine. Just real quick, Oklahoma State has hired Todd Grantham to be their defensive coordinator. If you don't know, haven't been following, Oklahoma State had a horrible season, didn't win 1 game in the Big 12 in conference play. They went 0 for 9. Horrible season. They fired the defensive and offensive coordinator. They restructured Mike Gundy's contract, so they have more money to pay NIL and to pay coordinators. I have not seen anything yet about an offensive coordinator, but as far as defensive coordinator goes, Todd Grantham is the guy. He has been a journeyman. He's been all over. He's been in the NFL. He's been in college. He played at Virginia Tech, coached there. He played under Beamer at Virginia Tech. And then he's been in the NFL for, a long time. He was at the Colts, the Texans, the Browns, the Dallas Cowboys. Then he went to Georgia, Louisville, Mississippi State, Florida, Alabama, back to the NFL, and now back to college at Oklahoma State. I don't think it's a bad hire. I mean, it's definitely better than what we've had the last 2 years. After Jim Knowles left for Ohio State, Gundy thought it would be cute and go out and get some guy from Timbuktu and has never proven himself. And that proved to be a horrible hire. And so there's no way to go but up from here. You lost 9 games. You won 0 games in the conference. The only way to go is up. Can't get any worse in conference play, right? So I think Todd Grantham, you know what? Great hire after what we've seen the last 2 years. So I love it. I'm fine with that. I'm excited to see the offensive coordinator role get filled. I mean, I think it's a far-fetched, but I would love to see Zach Robinson from the Falcons. He's offensive coordinator for the Falcons. Would he take that step down to college if he knew that he would be head coach in waiting after Mike Gundy leaves? Who knows? Gundy could be around for another 10 years. I don't know. But I would love for Zach Robinson to be our offensive coordinator, coach in waiting. But does he leave the NFL? Does he leave that gig? Because I feel like he could also be an NFL head coach one day. Like, he's been on that trajectory. He's young, but he also has those ties to Oklahoma State. He was an amazing quarterback at Oklahoma State. Would he come be that offensive coordinator if he had that coach in waiting title attached? I don't know. I don't know, but it would be amazing. So that's where we are with Oklahoma State football. A lot has happened. A lot has happened, like we talked about. This might just be a college football episode right now because I'll talk about the Thunder later this week, but the portal, college football, the transfer portal opened today. There's people already announcing from every school. I don't even know how many are in the portal right now, but there's got to be a lot because there's a lot every year. Like, I think I could be way off, but I thought I saw a number like over 500 transfers, that there's been over 500 transfers last year for sure, but I just don't know. We will see. I thought this was hilarious because I think it's funny. Kirk Herbstreit was a quarterback at Ohio State, lives in Columbus now, I believe, or at least in Ohio, right? I think in Columbus. Well, his son, quarterback at a high school there in Ohio, committed to play football at Michigan. What a savage. Your dad, which I also get. I'm a huge proponent of not following in your family's footsteps. Like Barry Sanders, his son went to Stanford and he played 1 year at Oklahoma State after, that's fine. I get that, but it's got to be tough to follow your dad or your siblings to the school they went to. So I get that, but it's just funny that he went to their biggest rival of Ohio State, went to Michigan, or is going to Michigan, committed. So I think that's pretty wild. I love it. We'll see how that plays out for Kirk Herbstreit's son. But committed to Michigan after Herbstreit was a quarterback at Ohio State. But got to be your own person, right? I'm fine with that. I am fine with blazing your own trail. And so that's all I got, I think. I don't know if there's anything else happening big time in college football. Coaches are moving. I did see the UNLV coach took the job at Purdue. So I don't know. Does that mean as far as the UNLV OC, offensive coordinator, goes? Because I know that Oklahoma State may have been looking at him. I know that was like rumors, or not rumors, but just kind of on a wish list, at least from what I've seen on Twitter, was getting the UNLV offensive coordinator into Stillwater. But now with the head coach leaving for Purdue, does that mean obviously that the offensive coordinator at UNLV is going to apply for that job at UNLV to be the head coach? So that changes things as far as offensive coordinator goes at Oklahoma State. There's just a lot of movement this time of year, especially with the transfer portal. I hate the transfer portal. I hate how it's become just like the most crazy free agency ever. I wish they would just put a limit on how many times a kid can transfer. I wish it was one. Like, you can transfer one time and that's it. Or go back to where you have to sit out a year. I don't know. There's got to be some way to fix this, because there's been kids who have, for one, have been playing for 7 or 8 years, and 2, have been at 4 different schools. Something's got to change there. Something has to change with the transfer portal. It's just like the wild, wild west out there. And I know there's a lot of head coaches that have mentioned that that's just frustrating, and with NIL, but it's also like, you got to get with the times, figure it out, because you're not the only one. Every school has to figure this out, and some schools are succeeding in it and some are not. So you have to figure that out as a head coach. What is best for you, for NIL at your school, for the transfer portal. And I don't know if there's going to be a change. So you got to get with the times and figure it out. A lot easier said than done, obviously. That's where we are with that. College football season is over. Heisman, we could talk about Heisman real quick. Travis Hunter for Colorado, Ashton Gentry for Boise State. If I had a Heisman vote, I would vote for Ashton Gentry. Just the numbers he's put up. Again, I know he hasn't played the competition that maybe Colorado has, but the kid is a beast. The kid has runs over 70 yards like every other game. From the line of scrimmage, one play, he'll go for over 70 yards like every other game. Might catch Barry Sanders and pass him for all-time rushing yards in a season, which Barry Sanders, his season, they didn't count the bowl game. It is what it is. Makes no sense why they just wouldn't retroactively count his bowl game now that they do count bowl games. Such a weird deal because this happened with Wisconsin and Ron Dane. Thought he might catch Barry Sanders, but he didn't, and he got to count his bowl game. So something needs to change there also. There's just a lot of changes that need to happen with college football and the way they keep records and all that stuff. But again, if I had a vote for Heisman, it would be Ashton Gentry for Boise State. The kid is incredible. I mean, so is Travis Hunter. Don't get me wrong. He plays both sides of the ball. And that's the other funny thing. They're like, yeah, but look how many snaps he's played. It's like, well, you don't win the Heisman based off of snaps. Who cares about that? Like, are you the most electrifying, best player in all of college football? I think it comes down to those two guys. And again, I think Ashton Gentry should be the guy holding the Heisman Trophy in New York when it's announced, not Travis Hunter. We'll see. We will see. That's all I got. I hope that you have a great week, great day. We'll talk later. See ya.